Hey there, my name is Rohit Kumar, and today we are going to discuss another journal of Elsevier. It is not so popularly known journal, but still averagely good journal. So you can choose if your research area lies in the scope of this particular journal. So let's start. So today's journal name is Nano Communication Networks, and as you can see, it's an Elsevier journal and offers you both types of publishing options: subscription-based and the open access. The guide for authors, a track and order status links are already available at the homepage. Then the ISSN number, editorial board information is available here. Let's see in short what are the things available here. Then the citation score, impact factor, top readership, publication time, recent articles, most downloaded, most cited, abstracting and indexing, open access versus the subscription based comparison, special issues, Plumex matrices, open access articles, then the call for papers, audio video slides, authorships, and news information, author resources, editorial board, everything is available on the homepage only. Okay, so I think we need to discuss one by one. So first thing, that open access option is available. So if you have funding at your side, you can go for this to increase your viewership. Additionally, if you don't, then please go for the subscription list. This the only choice. Then the impact factor of the journal is 2.947. That is pretty fair and not much, but still good enough. Additionally, it ranks 109th out of 273 journals in the engineering category, in particular electrical and electronics. And as it's a quite competitive category, there are so many journals in this, so 109th is not a bad rank. It's an good rank, good or average at least, you can say. Then with this journal indexed in 4 international databases, your released article can be read and cited by researchers worldwide. So like normal Elsevier journals, it's a guideline here. Moving on to the editorial board, let's see who are the panel members and where are they from. So United States of America, 9 panel members are from there, then 4 from Italy, then Australia, China, Finland, France, different representatives from different parts of world. Okay, then moving on to the editor-in-chief, so James Jornet and M. Pierobon. Then you can have the IF Eclairs, and she is a very well-known author of wireless networks. Then moving down here, you can see the editorial board members: Sergey Abdal, then Arzul Khan, then Ilango Balasingham, and so many others. Okay, so at least you can see that there are, I think, 20 or 25 editorial board members. So it's pretty not a very large editorial board, but still good enough. So moving on to means what is the role of editorial board size and all, means it's not that if the editorial board having more members, then it is only good. Point is that it gives you a fair assumption or a fair idea about the kind of activities that are going behind the journal. So if there are so many works, there are so many tracks in which the journal is accepting papers, and so many special issues are going to be the part of journal in past or in present, and then I think there are so many activities or the things to take care of. So that's why different volunteer people are asked to join the editorial board, and in this way you can see, means if you want to have a general comparison, then see the FGCS or the JNC editorial board and then compare. There you'll find 50 or 50 plus editorial board members. So in this way we can see, because there are more tracks, additionally they have more number of papers submitted as well as accepted. So here let's see that what is the acceptance ratio and what are the papers which are currently being focused on. So moving on to the homepage again, and coming down here you see the cite score. So as the cite score points to the average citation received per reviewed document published in this title, so it is 5.9. Moving on to the impact factor, it measures the average number of citations received in a particular year by papers published in the journal during the preceding 2 years, that is 2.947. Then the top readership means the worldwide uses of this journal data at the country or the region level, okay, during the last 5 years. So the China, US and India, usually these 3 are the top readership as usual. Then the publication time is 1.9 week, that is quite average. Okay, moving down, Then we have the recent articles. So you can see that they are having a focus recently on the optical communication. Additionally, the molecular communication is the basis because journal is focused on the nano communication. Additionally, the DNA storage, compression, and the digitization is also the focus. In addition to this, the most downloaded articles are the nanoscale communication network scheme and energy model for a human hand scenario. And these are open access as usual. This is not open access, but the silicon photonic transceivers in the field of optical communication. So if a paper is not open access and is a part of most downloaded category, then you should go and read it if it matches with your research domain, because usually open access papers are downloaded mostly. But if a paper is not open access and then people are going and downloading it more, it means that there is something you need to take care of. Additionally, the most cited ones, again, usually most downloaded papers most downloaded papers do come from the open access category, but most cited papers might or might not be. It is not always necessary, but as you usually see that usually most cited papers do come from non-open access range, but still open access papers are also cited, but again from what type of journals they are being cited. So there comes the concept of Q1, Q2, etc. So in this way you should go and explore the Q ranking also, that you will see later on. Okay, so coming down, there are some special issues of this particular journal, as you can see over here. Then Plumex matrices details you can find through these links, and then open access articles. And then discussing that what is the indexing. So as you can see that it's Scopus Engineering Index, and we need to focus on this particular indexing only, that is Size Citation Index Expanded. So it's CIE, that's very good. And then what is the comparison of open access versus subscription based content? So here you can see that in 2018 it was most means the open access papers were more in comparison to the other competitive in last 5 years. Then total 17 articles were published in 2020. So perhaps the acceptance ratio is very low, and there is a very tough competition if you want to publish with this particular journal. So that's why I usually tell in my videos about some of the common myths, as in the early discussion we discussed that the impact factor is 2.947, but it doesn't mean that the quality of the journal is low. It might be the thing that journal is accepting very less papers, and that's why the impact factor is low, because impact factor is totally dependent on the citations in last 2 or 5 years. Okay, so in this way, as you can see that in 2020 only 17 articles were published, and none of them were open access. Means it is also not about the money or the journal is accepting papers because of it. So it depends on the kind of content. So if you are writing good content, you don't need to go for open access. Even through the subscription model also, you can have your paper accepted. Going down and discussing the authorship. So viewership and authorship, that is two different concepts. As you can see that China, US, and Iran are the top 3 authorship countries. And here you can see that China, US, and India are the top readership. So readership is coming, means India is in top 3 in terms of readership, but India is not in top 3 in terms of authorship. Okay, so people might be reading more, but they are not getting accepted for some other reason. Okay, so authorship is mostly coming from China, US, and Iran, and they are almost in the competitive stage. You can see very close to each other. So it's not like that, that always if there is some authorship viewership is coming from a particular country, then more number of actual accepted papers are going to come from there. You can see the difference. Okay, Iran is beating India in this particular aspects, but India is having a very strong research culture, and it is also having very good authorship in terms of submitting and accepting, getting accepted papers in different reputed journals. For example, in JNC, FGCS, etc., you can have. But again, time to time, these matrices do get changed, and that's why you don't need to have the same kind of detail every time. So whenever you want to visit the latest matrix detail, you need to go to the home page. I'm just showing you that how to go on to a particular journal site and then how to look all these kind of details. But it is up to you at what time you need to see the details and what kind of details you are interested in. Okay. Coming down, here are the news and the announcements. So some of the related news and some of the announcements, if there is a change in the editorial board or something like that, or is there any special issues that's going to come there, or is there any competition or kind of awards, then you can have the information or the announcements here. Then there are the author resources. If you are going to prepare your article, then Research Academy tool you can take help of, and then the Mendeley guide for authors, language editing, and the translation services are provided from some of the publishers. So Elsevier also provides such services, so you can take help of these services if you are interested in. Then the subscription and the publication related details and their corresponding links are provided here. Moving down, here you can see that your research data, you can also make your research data available, accessible, discoverable, and the usable using these links. So if you're interested, you can explore these links. Additionally, the Mendeley dataset and the related links are provided here. Some of the tweets are also provided down here. And finally, at the last stage, inside the bottom of the page, you can find some of the things related to the readers, authors, librarians, and the editors. Okay, so as per your role, you can go onto a particular link, whatever you are looking for, and then you can have the kind of uses. So in this way, this is the basic information. Now we have, as I usually tell in my video, you should get concerned about three things. First, that whether the journal is rightly indexed, means it is SCI or not. Secondly, what is the impact? What is the Q ranking? Third is what is the impact factor. So we do know that it is SCI indexed journal. Now go for the Q1 or Q2 rank, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, whatever is the Q ranking. So let's see here. Okay, it is Nano Communication Network. So let's see what Nano Communication Network has to offer. So Nano Communication Networks, here it is. So the H index is bit low, even quite low in comparison to FGCS or GNC or computer networks. But as I told you that if the scope of the journal is narrow, means if it is not focusing wide audience, then obviously its H index, its impact is going to be low. But it doesn't mean that the quality of the papers which are published in the journal is not good enough. So you need to actually go to have a look on the recently published articles through open access or some other medium if you are interested to see the kind of quality of the published articles. Okay, so don't blindly go for the H index or the impact factor kind of things. Here you can see that there are three different subject areas. One is, means three different tracks, even we should say. One is the computer science, second is engineering, third is mathematics, and in computer science it is focusing on computer networks and communication, like the biomedical networks might be there, or in a body of a patient you may have the nano communication networks of different biochemical modules. So in this way you can have the kind of networking. Then in engineering you have the electrical or the electronic engineering concepts, because there are different sorts of devices. There might be the kind of signal processing, those are coming from the different kind of sensors. And thirdly, the applied mathematics, means if you are modeling your work and you are providing some sort of mathematical modeling and optimization approaches. Okay, so coming down here you have that it's a journal, then it is the SSN, coverage is from 2010 to 2020, and some of the related links are provided. Coming to the scope, that is very important. So here it is an international archival and multidisciplinary journal, and provides a different coverage to multiple topics, and especially on the all aspects of nano communication and networking. Okay, theoretical computer contributions, presenting new techniques, concepts, and analysis, applied contribution reporting on experience and experimentation, tutorials and surveys, and it's a part of computer network, of family of journals. And these type of journals focus on all kind of networking except nano networking, which is the scope of this journal. Okay, so normally computer science means computer network journals, they don't focus on nano networking, but this particular journal is specifically focusing on nano networking. Okay, so I hope you must have understood that what you can do with this particular journal. And these are the different quartiles, means different tracks. So applied mathematics, you can see it started bit low, but then it is performing bit good, not very good, because from Q4 it has started and it reached up to Q3 in a span of almost 10 years. Okay, and computer networks started as Q3, in between it became Q1 also good. Like again, but again it came to Q2 and electrical and electronic engineering, the same story. Okay, but it has started as Q1 and again Q2. So if you are interested, means you can go for this particular journal, and if you want to see the best quartile score, then you can come down here. Here you can see that the best quartile score is Q2. So the Nano Communication Network performs best in computer network and communication category. So in short, Q2 is the quartile ranking, means the Q ranking of this particular journal. Additionally, some of the similar journals are IEEE transaction on nanobioscience. Means if people are working in nanotechnology or nanobioscience, then they can focus this particular journal or this IEEE transaction on nanobioscience. IEEE journal selected areas in communication. They have provided here, but I don't think that selected areas in communication is specifically focusing in nanobioscience, and that's why you can see the similarity index is very low. Okay, if similarity index is below 30 or 35%, then I think there is a very less chance that your work is going to get published. If you need to be highly in a kind of interdisciplinary domain, if you want to get published in below 30 or 35% similarity index journal. So third one is the IEEE Communication Survey and Tutorial. This particular journal is a top-notch journal having the highest impact factor. If I'm not wrong, that is around 24. And it is going to give only the surveys and the tutorials, but one of the best in their category. Okay, so if you want to have the kind of survey or the tutorial related to nanobioscience or any other topic, you can go and have explore. Then the China communications. Okay. Coming down, the SDR metric is shown here. You can see it is going down. Then the total number of documents are also going down. Then surprisingly, the citations per document with respect to last 2 years is lowest in comparison to 3 or 4 years. So because usually in last 2 years, the citations should go on high, because in last 2 years, the technology became reachable to means became in reach of people, and that's why more research is going on. But if it is going down, then that's a bit of concern. But that is again a point that the field that this journal is targeting is something that many people don't focus on, and that's why only limited authors or researchers are working in the field of nanobioscience or nanotechnology. So that's why the research base is very limited. Okay, but in comparison to other journals, this particular graph means the citable documents. Here you should see the cited documents. This is good enough. Okay, and but the uncited document is also pretty high, because in comparison to 73, this is the 80 number. Okay, so big percentage. Then the international collaboration is continuously going on decline. That is a bit of concern. Perhaps more individual authors are working, and that's why it's might be hard to find the international collaboration in near future, but you can explore. Okay, so I think it is the basic detail, and if you want to have some more information, please let me know. If there is some information at your side that you want to share with me, that you can do. But I think most of the things means that we usually see in these type of journals is that usually we don't have the kind of information or the kind of knowledge that what we can do in nanotechnology or nanobioscience. So usually we just forget and we move either to a different journals, or we just don't want to work in this particular field. But these type of journals are kind of revolutionary, means like we saw in corona time that there are so many means nanotechnology, means if you have the kind of the drugs working on the bioscience, or the kind of having that there are the drugs which are exploiting the usefulness of nano networks. So means there might be some very intelligent drugs which might be curing the patients at a very good rate. So there is a need to explore this dimension of research also, nanotechnology, nano communication, nano bioscience, that are pretty good fields. But again, considering the limited scope and the less knowledge among the readers as well as the authors, these fields do get skipped from the side of readers as well as authors. However, the people who are knowledgeable and who are interested, especially the mathematical people who do the mathematical modeling, of different domains, they usually go for this kind of fields, and nano means the medical people. So if you want to have the kind of interdisciplinary research, then this is a good field. Additionally, some of the information that I have at my side, I would like to discuss with you. Means there are some research focus with respect to this particular journal. You can have a focus on. So with respect to my knowledge, you can focus on the nano networks, molecular communications, quantum cellular automation, telecommunication networks, then the performance analysis, wireless networks, pulse position modulations, microfluids, then quorum sensing, then the memristor, fault tolerance, error correction codes, nano radio, means whatever components and whatever devices we do here about in normal networks, that should be kind of nano. Means I'm not saying that with respect to everything, but usually when you are talking about nanotechnology, those are supposed to be nano in scale. So nanoscopic scale and molecular machines, additionally nano sensor, and the network on a chip. Okay, so yeah, or system on a chip, and that also on a nanoscale. So in this way, you can focus on these particular topics, as well as you might be interested in the thing that the authors which are publishing in this particular journal, what are the other journals they are publishing in. So because if one of your work is not getting accepted in this particular journal, there are some journals, as we saw on the CI Mago site, there are some alternative journals. But if you know the track history of other authors where they are publishing, so there is a chance of understanding that yes, you can also go for publishing there. So there are some other journals related to this particular journal, so where you can go, like IEEE transactions on wireless communication, IEEE transactions on communications. These are two different transactions. Okay, IEEE transaction on wireless communication and IEEE transactions on communication, simple communication. Then IEEE transactions on antennas and propagation, because in network and in nano network you need to communicate. Then again, the propagation, signal communication, speech processing, this kind of thing come into picture. Signal processing, sorry. Then physical review on IEEE Communications Magazine, and then IEEE transactions on information, IEEE transactions on nanobioscience. So nanobioscience, wireless communication. So common thing is that as you can see the name of the journal, Nano Communication Networks. So the other journals which are focusing on nano, those are might be a suitable alternative for you, or the other journals which are focusing on communication. But again, you need to see communication is a vast field. What type of communication the journal is focusing on? Then you need to go to or you need to visit the homepage of that particular journal. You need to study the aim and scope carefully. Okay. And the other way to see is that you can download some of the most recent articles, or you can go to homepage and search whatever your title is. So then you will get whether your domain lies suitably in the scope of the journal or not. Okay. Additionally, some of the other publishers that you can focus on with the nano communication in mind is obviously IEEE, then the Springer, then Biophysical Society of Japan, American Physical Society, and IOP Publishing, the Optical Society, Oxford University Press. But again, the reputation of those publishers or those journals, because every publisher is not having a good reputation with respect to a particular research field. Like in engineering domain, IEEE and Elsevier, they have very good reputation. Springer is not giving a good competition to these two, but IEEE is topping, kind of. Okay, though IEEE has a less number of journals in comparison to Elsevier, but still IEEE is topping the list. But you need to see that what kind of journal or work you are having, what kind of work you are having, and what kind of journal you are trying to focus on. Because some of the some publishers have some one or two very good journals. Okay, it is not always the case that IEEE only is having the very good journals. So you need to explore that what publisher first, then what kind of journal. Okay, so like in Wiley, in Hindavi, one or two journals are very good for communication or networking. So those also you can go and have a look on. So again, three things you need to have in mind. First thing, indexing. The journal should be SCI indexed. Second thing, that journal should be Q1 or Q2. If not, then only consider Q3, but never go for Q4. And lastly, that what is the impact factor? Okay, so impact factor should be considered at last. So that's all from my side. And if you are interested in to give some more detail, then I will love to hear from you. Please do comment below. Additionally, if you don't like any comment or if you have some modification or suggestion, please let me know. I will love to learn from your comments. Thanks for watching this video. Happy learning.